July. It will be July really soon, but at the moment it's June, which is just as well because in August I'm going to Edinburgh and I haven't written my show yet. Oh no, I have to write it somewhere in July. I hope that it doesn't come too soon, but then again, oh my, I haven't written a show yet. Oh, what am I to do? Hello, people that are in the chat. Hello to you. It's not July. It's not July, but it is nearly July. It is the week after Midsummer. So Midsummer has been and gone and went. And now I'm like, oh no! Because somebody sent me, they had the Edinburgh, the whole book with all the shows. And they sent me a screen grab of my show. And I was like, oh, because it's all very real when it's in a physical thing that other people have got access to and are expecting something. And I just want to get away from here, really. It's no offense to this room and its environs, but I'm just like, I need to get away from here just for a little while. So it's just the show is an addendum, but I have to do a show just in case people come. Now, I mean, I'm hoping people come. They might come. It's in the listings, apparently. So it's technically a show, but what show shall it be? I don't know what show. I don't know what show. I never know what show is going to go. It's got poems, I know, but apart from that, oh, I don't know what a show is going to go. Oh no. Oh no! it is yes. It will be a show of some sort, which is in the theatre section, but is something theatre, as somebody pointed out. If you tell them, one of my flatmates, I accidentally sort of pocket dialed them. They were just messaging me with a query about their show because apparently the venue for their show was gone and they didn't know it. They didn't realise, so they don't even know whether they're going to do a show. And but they've got another show and they didn't have the right days off, so they just messaged me to ask what should happen and how they get days off. And I accidentally, I ended up, there was a video chat and we talked. And then they said, thanks for calling me anyway. And I was like, oh, did I call you? Because what had happened was I was trying to eat a sandwich at the time and I dropped the phone. And while I was dropping the phone, it had dialed their number or their messaging details. And so I had messaged them. They had not messaged me. So it was nice to see them. Anyway, they said, yes, if you say that it's theatre, then it is theatre. If you say that it is comedy, even if it is not funny, it is in the comedy section, then you can win the Edinburgh Awards. And many have, with something that is not necessarily what most people would describe as comedy, but it is in the comedy section. Therefore, it is eligible and it wins. It is art, great art. Well, mine is not great art, but it's in the theatre section. It's fart. Oh, with a fart. See, not with an F. With a fart. Great fart. Theatre art. Obviously. Yesterday, I did a, is anybody here? Is anybody here? It's like a seance, isn't it? Hello, Fingal, of course it is. Yes, I've had an all right week. It's been a bit sort of warm and sticky, and it's been a little bit like, yeah, sorry, because your message popped up and then it disappeared, and I was like, where's it gone? It's difficult with the little phony thing. Anyway, I did pear-shaped in Dystrophia yesterday, all the way from Australia. Brian and Crystal are in Australia, so we had to do it first thing in the morning, so that took up all of yesterday morning, and it got a bit depressing. It's like there was somebody in America that sent something in, and it was like, oh, this is a bit glum, and possibly controversial, but it's comedy, so technically you can do anything in the name of comedy and art. You can do what you want. Although Glastonbury, somebody said something in the name of art, and now everyone's like, no, you should not say of that. And it's like, oh, technically you should not say bad things about anybody, but obviously it is art, so you can say in the name of art, but that's not how people say it. You know, this used to be you could just say anything in the name of art. But tell that to all the people that have been condemned in the name of saying things that they believe in because it was art. I don't think you can get away with it just because it's art. But you know, technically. Anyway, so yeah, I have never been to Glastonbury. It's very corporate, isn't it? Despite the things that happened, it's very corporate. I know people back in the day that used to go there and they used to go, I'm in the mud, I'm in a tent in the mud, and they snuck in and they had a lovely time for free by sneaking in. But now I think there's big barriers and you have to spend thousands of pounds for glamping, which is camping only in a yurt with all mod cons. Some celebrity, I can't remember who it was, some celebrity that's not a massive celebrity, is appearing at Glastonbury in some capacity and was giving a tour of their very glamorous looking yurt with all the things. I've never been camping in that way. Ooh, get me. In other ways. But I've never been, I have been in caravans. I've been caravan camping, but and other sorts of camping. Burning Man. Oh, yes. Yes, I've not been to anything like that. I go the Edinburgh route. Edinburgh is a festival, a fringe of a festival, the festival of the fringe. It isn't like the ones in the field. It's in a city, a lovely city that's half underground. And there's less mud, but there is a lot of big buildings, very old ones, some new. There's a lot of new bits since I've been there last. Oh, the St. James Shopping Centre got knocked down and rebuilt anew. So it's still a shopping centre, but the old antique 1960s, 70s shopping centre that appeared in the background in the opening scenes of what's that film? The Danny Boyle film, the film with Ewan McGregor, where they're in Edinburgh and they're running around. It's not Twin Town, that's a different film entirely. You know what I mean? Not Pulp Fiction. Oh, I can't remember what it's called. You know the film, the one set in Edinburgh. Choose life. It's so hot, I can't remember anything. I'm just like, I'm sweating my head off. Too much, I can't remember. Anyway, it appears in the background where I think they nick something from Boots and they run round the corner and then they run down towards the railway and there's a bridge and in the background you can see the shopping centre. Sunday Fun Day, yes, exactly. You can see a shopping centre and a sort of walkway. And that was there when I first went to Edinburgh, but they've knocked all that down and they've built a new shopping centre. So it's now a 2000 shopping centre that doesn't look particularly different. It's just got more stories. All the stories you can tell, different sort of stories. I went in there last year and I was like, oh, it goes up and up and up and up and up and up. Up and up and up and up and up and up. And then you get to the top and you go, oh, I'll leave. And you go the back way and there's some stairs and you're like, whoa. But I've gone up 8 stories and now I'm at ground level. There's just some steps down to ground level. And it's like, it's just stuck on a slope. So you think you've gone up miles and then you're back at the street. It's just amazing. And there's a, just next to PHO, that's Fa, isn't it? Fa. There's 2 Fa. There's one that's called Fa. FHO, PHO, and there's another one that serves pho that's not the pho, that's a more genuine pho, and they're opposite each other. And then there's some stairs down to ground level, and then there's like an Edinburgh coffee bar that apparently is something about cows or something. I don't know. There's apparently all over Edinburgh, and that's on the street level, and you walk up and you're like, whoa! I can see everything. I'm right on Old Town. I'm right on Princess Street. Or as a lot of people say, Princess Street. It is not Princess Street, it is Princess Street. So that's it. And there's a tram that never used to be there that took years to build, but I've been there before the tram was built. And during and a couple of years where it just stopped being built for years and years, and it was all jammed up, and then it's built again. Hooray! So Edinburgh, historic town in many ways. New town is quite new. Old Town is much older. What is that to you? The castle is atop the hill. I've never been there either, but I've been outside the castle. And I can't rhyme anything with that. Neither. It's at the top of the hill. I've never been there. One person from America visited and offered to buy me and some friends dinner. I think they were trying to get off with me, but they bought my friends dinner as well. It was like, I didn't know until way afterwards that was the plan of attack. And they offered to take me to the castle, but I said, no, I've got a show later. I can't afford to go. So I'm quite glad, because I already felt a little sort of obliged because of the like, oh no! Sorry, I didn't realise. I don't pick up signs. I like, somebody else took me for dinner once. I was paying, so it wasn't like they were paying. Like, we both went to like a curry house in just off the West End, off Shaftesbury. No, off the Strand. It was off Shaftesbury Avenue. Anyway, beside the point. And anyway, we had some curry and it was fine, and we had a little chat, and nothing happened. And then years later, I said on Facebook or some such, and I'd lost touch with them, but except on Facebook. And I said something like, I've never been on a date. At that point, I've never been on a date. And they went, well, what was that thing we went on? I'm like, well, clearly not a date, because I didn't realise it was. It's like, oh, all right, this person has been on Jeopardy in America. So famous-ish. I don't know. People that are on Jeopardy, because I know that people that are in quizzes sometimes can be famous for being on quizzes. Now, I don't know whether everybody on Jeopardy is semi-famous, but he was on Jeopardy and he won a couple of times running. But obviously, somebody wasn't picking up the clues, and it was me. But he wasn't throwing out the clues, so it's like, what is it? You say, what is a date? That's the answer to it. It's like, I don't know. Jeopardy's over here now. Stephen Fry presents it. Never used to be. It's just in the last year that Stephen Fry is presenting it, and he's over here. Stephen Fry, who I've sat next to. Ha-ha! Name dropping. Ba-doing! At a BBC event. Ba-doing! I was here. Just imagine me here, and here was him. And he's quite a big lad, and there was all people around the table. So we were all squished up. His thigh was jammed up to me. So I was like, hello, Stephen. And I was eating, there was nibbles. I remember eating a thing with like tomato paste on it. And it wasn't only afterwards I realised I'd got it all the way down me. So Stephen Fry see me all covered in tomato paste. But he was charming. And I interviewed him, and I had it on tape. But the tape was an old-fashioned C90 tape, and it didn't work properly, so I couldn't play the interview, and also I had nowhere to put the interview, because it was a publication I worked at, was a digital and a satellite TV thing, and he hadn't actually been on any digital and satellite TV. He was just there for terrestrial TV at the time, and so I had nothing to write about. So I was just there going, where is Stephen Fry? Tell me about things. Hero worshipping and stuff. Oh, I am terrible at doing that. He was one of my childhood heroes, is the thing. I was like emulating him. I'll be just like Stephen Fry. I'll do all the Stephen Fry things. Unfortunately, the thing Stephen Fry did was he did check fraud and then went to Borstal and then went on to Cambridge. Now, the Cambridge bit is the bit you should aspire to, not the bit that came before. So, you know, a man of many pros and cons. Literally cons. Anyway, that's a long time ago. I mean, that should have been stricken from his record because it was when he was a minor. But he's written about it, so much for that. He's got books that mention the whole sorry, sordid affair. But he did well out of it because I think he got a special dispensation to go to. It's like a special. Like, he's clever enough to have gone to Cambridge anyway, but I think it was a sort of, and also, how interesting is that? Oh, yes, but he went to private school, so I mean, I think he's quite a privileged person. I think I haven't got that going for me. So there you go. Also, I'm not a 6'6", wonky-nosed, public school educated, white gay man. That might come as a surprise. Yeah, it's like, wow, I thought you were. Not really. Or maybe I am. It's an illusion, whatever this is. Well, I was Stephen Fry all along! Ha ha! And you never even noticed. What a master of disguise I am. Stephen Fry, the master of disguise. Yeah, it was me all along, Stephen Fry. Somebody else that I aspired to be like was Joe Orton. Similar trajectory, defaced library books, went to prison, became a famous writer. Now, I think that rather than focus on the prison bit and the criminal activity, you should focus on the famous writer bit. But it's all part and package, isn't it? Influence. You see, you have to be very careful if you kind of set yourself up as a role model, because all the things you've ever done become part of that package. So all the good things and all the bad things, people go, well, I have to do the bad things in order to do the good things. Really? So you have to be squeaky clean. Squeaky clean in order to not influence young minds to do bad things. It's a very good disguise. An excellent disguise. Nobody would ever suspect that I am Stephen Fry in the flesh. Of course I can't be, because I couldn't have sat next to Stephen Fry if I am Stephen Fry. Or could I? Maybe. That was part of the illusion. Anyway, yes, so you've got to be so careful, because there's a lot of wrong uns that have done. This is it, though. It's redemption. It's the whole thing of redemption. If you've done a bad thing, but then you do a good thing afterwards, then you redeem yourself. As long as it's not a terrible thing. I mean, this is like, defacing library books and minor check fraud are on the great list of things you could do, not high on the list of terrible, irredeemable crimes. There are other crimes that obviously you're like, no, we should not forgive that. We should let you be, and you've done your time, and get on with your life. But it's like, condemn, shame. No, it's not. Is there anything irredeemable? Some things. But if you've done your time, then get on with stuff. But, like Robert Downey Jr., also a great person. It took him a little while to be redeemed. He went to prison for various things, but now he is Doctor Doom. He was Iron Man, of course, but now he is Doctor Doom. I'm sorry if that has spoiled it for you. Maybe he isn't really Doctor Doom. Maybe he is me disguised as Stephen Fry. Or maybe he's Stephen Fry disguised as me. He is Doctor Doom or Iron Man or just Robert Downey Jr. Anyway, he's been redeemed. There's some people that are redeemed even though they shouldn't have been redeemed, but he's been redeemed and he should have been redeemed, and he's just hurt himself. That's all. The crime that he did just hurt himself. And Joe Orton did get punished in a very bad way because he ended up being hit by a hammer after... Yes. That was best not said. Kenneth Halliwell and his hammer. That's what happened to him. Yes, so that's because I suspect that because Kenneth Halliwell, who he lived with in Angel Islington and various other places, and also in West Hampstead. At some point, I went past the place he used to live in West Hampstead. It was like, what? It's just a flat next to a pub above a shop or above it's a very tiny thing. Anyway, he was from Leicestershire, where I was conceived. I know, on July the 4th, coming up. Oh, the conception day. That's the day that I was created as such. And he came from Leicester and he went to RADA. I always wanted to be going to RADA, but I couldn't afford the fees to just go to the audition, even, let alone anything else. It's like I had to audition. I wanted to audition for loads of different things. I auditioned for not RADA because that was the expensive one. I didn't think I was going to get into that. I did apply for Cambridge, but I didn't have the bus fare to go to the interview for that. I did get an interview for that, and they phoned me up going, why haven't you come to this? And I'm like, I can afford the bus fare. They're like, that's not an excuse. It's like, yeah, I know it's not, but he's like, why didn't you tell us? It's like, because I thought I could get it, and I couldn't, because I didn't do the crimes. I didn't do the right crimes to get the bus fare. Otherwise, I could have got the bus fare. Really? Don't plan it properly. And also, right, so he went to RADA where he met Kenneth Halliwell, who's considerably older and bald, but talented, but not the sort of talented that gets you noticed, because he was a bit of a weirdo, apparently. And anyway, they wrote loads of stuff together, but didn't get anywhere. But then they decided to do an art project with other people's library books, the library books from the library. And so they got them, and they did little bits, little printouts of like blurbs that they put on the inside of library books, and put the library books back with a completely outrageous blurb that they'd written in the back. But they'd also written lots of plays and stories and various different things. Anyway, whilst in prison, Jo Orton wrote to I can't remember what her name. There was a famous agent woman who I could remember for ages. I always wanted her to be my agent, but she's not alive anymore. Anyway, this famous agent woman, he sent a draft of a play that had actually been written with him and Kenneth Halliwell, but he put his name on it. Well, he put a name on it because his name wasn't actually Jo Orton. It was John. Anyway, he wrote and he got the agent and he got the fame, and he was like, hey, I'm a big deal. I'm an up-and-coming young thing. He was, 30 or something, up and coming young thing. And Kenneth Halliwell was like, hang on a second, we wrote that together, my young lad, oh me lad. And so he had to go along with it. So Jo Orton up in the world, Kenneth Halliwell in the background. You didn't really write this, did you? Yes, he did. He co-wrote quite a lot of it. And then, see, because that's it. He wrote loads of diaries, and when, in the end, Kenneth Halliwell cracked, and then so did Jo Orton in a different way. Bit of a sort of true crime. Terrible things happened anyway. He drank a with grapefruit juice, which I think you're supposed to mix those, and went a little bit and anyway went off with a hammer like Maxwell Silver hammer. I don't know whether that was actually based on this, and then both of them were no longer there. Anyway, in the note that the unalive, as the kids say, unaliving note that Kenneth Halliwell wrote, he said, look, read the diaries, it will explain everything. Now, I have read the diaries, actually edited by I can't remember, Bert Lahr's son, the Cowardly Lion's son. Anyway, he edited the diaries, and anyway, I read the diaries, and there's a lot of stuff going on in them, but what it doesn't explain, because through this whole diary, it's not said, hey, I've actually ripped off my my friend's work and passed it off as my own. Oh, but I think the subtext is, yes, you did, and you went off on little jollies and left me behind, and oh, I'm so jealous and angry. Anyway, that's the True Life Crime podcast. La la la. True Life Crime. La la la. True Life Crime. Haven't explained it well, but the true life crime was the crime. La 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 la. And for a long time I thought, oh, emulate Jo Orton, because I liked his work. It's good. Or was it Kenneth Halliwell's work? So then I was like, maybe I'm Jo Orton. Haha, maybe I'm Jo Orton. Like reincarnated. Maybe I'm also Kenneth Halliwell, because apparently their ashes got mixed up. And he's from Leicester, and their ashes got scattered in Leicester. And where was I conceived? In Leicester. Well, it stands to reason, doesn't it? I must be. Bits of them both. And they were, especially Jo Orton, in bits. True Life Crime! Yes, anyway, I told this to somebody once, and they thought I was a loon. And fair dues, they were probably right. Now, do I seriously think that I'm a reincarnation of Jo Orton and Kenneth Halliwell? Well, probably not. But, Who knows? Well, we shall never know, because is reincarnation real? Is it a thing? Is it a thing? If it is, am I really that person and the other person? Can you be more than one person if you're reincarnated? Probably not. I think that might be a lunatic idea, but it might be true. It might be true. How do you know if it is true or not? Do you? No, you don't. Maybe I am Joe Wharton. I'm definitely not Stephen Fry, because Stephen Fry is on the TV, and am I? No, I'm not. Stephen Fry is on the TV, so I'm definitely not Stephen Fry. But am I Joe Wharton and Kenneth Halliwell? Kenneth Halliwell. I don't know, do you? Probably not. Probably not. Probably not. But you can't prove that I'm not, because it's not the sort of thing that you can ever prove, because it's a loony story that's possibly. Am I making that up on the spur of the moment? Does that make any sense? Is this going to be part of my Edinburgh show? Maybe. Is it worth sticking in an Edinburgh show? Have I ruined it by telling you? Have I ever told you this story before? It's one of those things that maybe kept secret. You're going to think very badly of me if you think that I think that I'm these two different people that quite a long time ago, 1967. 1967 was the last of them. Now, that's before I was born. So, don't know how long you have to stick around before, if reincarnation is a thing. How long do you have to stick around? More than a year, more than 10, more than 20, more than 30. I don't know, but their ashes were in Leicester, and I was in Leicester, and I went to university in Northampton, but it's the University of Leicester. And also, Richard III was found in a car park in Leicester. So, it must mean something. It must mean something Leicestershire-y. I like the cheese. And I speak quite posh for someone that is from Wales. And apparently so did Joe Wharton, because he had elocution lessons. So maybe I had elocution lessons in the 1950s. Also, he gives a story about what happened in My Favourite Brunette, I think it was. An awakening of sorts that he had in the 50s in My Favourite Brunette. And I've seen My Favourite Brunette, so that must mean something. Absolute madness! What are you talking about? This is just, you think so badly of me now for thinking something. Did I think that? Richard III lost his car keys. He did. He had a horse. He had a car. He had some keys, but he could not go far. My kingdom for my car keys, he said very loudly. But they said, what are car keys? Just stay there and wait. And then years and years later, he found lots of car keys. He was buried in a car park, but it was not a car park. Somebody told me that I should look it up and see that he was not buried in a car park. That's just an idea, but he wasn't buried in a car park. It's very true indeed. He was buried in Greyfriars Cemetery, but many years later it got turned into a car park. So he was buried in a car park. If time is not linear, it's all happening at once. So yes, it makes sense. You are right. Car keys. He lost his car keys. He lost his horse. He was buried in a car park. He was buried in Greyfriars Cemetery. Oh. Anyway, he is now laid to rest somewhere. I I don't know. Is he state rest somewhere? So am I Richard III as well? Only time will tell. I think I'm related to Richard III in the way everyone's related to Richard III, in the way everybody with any sort of tiny little bit of European ancestry is related to all of the royals, because Charlemagne was around and he had lots and lots of children and lots of illegitimate children as well. And in 1066, there were about 1 million people in Britain and about 20 in the European area, and out of all those people, most of them were related to Charlemagne. And even if you're not European, if there's any little hint, then you're related to Richard III. Richard III and Charlemagne. If you do family history and you find one noble at any point, you go, oh, Lord something, that's interesting, and you keep going, you go, who was Lord Thing married to? He was married to Lady Thing, and Lady Thing was related to Lord Thing, and Lady and Lord Thing, if you stretch them back, well, every single person in their family was married to every other single person in their family, and every single one of them is related to a king or a queen. And if they're related to a king or a queen, then they are related to the king and the queen, because Henry VIII had 6 wives. Out of those 6 wives, 3 of them were commoners. They were cousins to one another. They were also cousins to Henry VIII. Because everybody is related. They were all at it. It's is it colony collapse? That's bees. There's if you go back far enough, then you'll find that some of your relatives at some point will be related to some more of your relatives. Now, this is also true if you come from quite a small area. Now, the Appalachians are notorious for that. Norfolk used to be for some reason. It shouldn't have been really, but I think that possibly Devon and Somerset might be. Forest of Dean is another one. Now I've got ancestry from the Forest of Dean, and I've also got ancestry from Devon/Somerset. Now, and also, if you are from the Forest of Dean, then I can definitely find that I'm related to you in some way. If you have got any sort of person in your, if you've got somebody called Strange or somebody called Savage or somebody, in your family tree, I'm probably related to you. And most people have, if you keep going far back enough, because we're all related. I'm getting very sweaty here. Oh, excited about this whole thing. Excited and sweaty. Anyway, this has been an interesting one, hasn't it? It's been a sweaty one, where I've talked about reincarnation, and I've talked about murder mysteries, and I've talked about crime, and I've talked about role models, and I've talked about sweat, and I've talked about Edinburgh, and what else have I talked about? Quite a lot. And then again not. And then again not. And then again not. Because it's very much like the other, secular. It all gets back to the beginning, doesn't it? And my chat has disappeared. So terribly sorry that, yes, nobody else has said anything since the car keys. Because you've all gone free, try disguise. Very excellent, yes. And yeah, you never knew it was me. Dudley Moore. Stephen Fry is actually Dudley Moore. Maybe. Anyway, okay, I'm going to stop this now because I've looked back and everyone stopped commenting at some point in the distant past. I don't know whether it's the Joe Orton bit. Can't have been, because the whole Richard III stuff happened after that. Anyway, we're all related. You're all my family. We are all the same person. We are all one. Maybe there is one person, and we are all them. And they're all Stephen Fry. That makes sense. All right, then. I will see you then. Bye-bye next week.